Question number 7. Grant Robertson.
Thank you very much, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Finance. Does he agree with the Prime Minister that, quote, dairy is 5% of our economy? So yes, dairy prices are down and it's tough on those dairy farmers who are resilient people, but 95% of our economy is not involved in that.
Speaker, yes. Honourable Bill English.
That's a good answer.
Grant Robertson, supplementary question.
In light of that answer, if 95% of people are not affected, how does he explain retailers in Taranaki who say the downturn in the dairy market is seeing sales decline between 10 and 20%, including one retailer who said the situation was as bad as the height of the global financial crisis?
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, because that seems to be a natural consequence of the fact that dairy farmers in Taranaki are earning less and so they're spending less.
Mr Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
What explanation does he have for the following reports on economic confidence? The July Colmar-Brunton survey that shows economic pessimism outweighing optimism for the first time in 6 years. The Reid research poll that says 64% of people who think we are headed for a downturn. The ANZ Business Confidence Survey reporting a 6-year low in business confidence. Or today's Westpac quarterly economic survey that features a boat that has run aground, symbolising his management of the economy.
The Honourable Bill English.
Mr Speaker, well, I think the reason for that is pretty obvious. People have been adjusting to a stream of what they regarded as pretty negative news, first about Greece, then about China, and then more recently about a steadily dropping dairy price and a few other indications that the economy that was growing at 3 to 3.5% looks like it's growing at 2 to 2.5%. So given how high the levels of confidence were, it's not surprising that they dropped somewhat.
Speaker.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Does he expect to meet forecasts in his budget for reducing unemployment to below 5%, or, after 3 quarters of increasing unemployment, is he prepared to admit that Westpac are right and unemployment is headed back over 6%?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, Mr Speaker, there'll always be differences between forecasts. What has been positive about the labour market has been the continued growth in new jobs and the continuation of a record high participation rate that is a bigger proportion of the working age population available for work than has ever been the case. So in the light of those positive trends, it's still possible that unemployment could rise. We've yet to see. What we do know is we have an economy that is producing a lot of new jobs, and there's slightly more New Zealanders showing up for them than there are growth in jobs.
Supplementary question, Grant Robertson.
Why is he so keen to take credit for the state of the economy when it was going well, but at the first sign of a downturn, it's everyone else's fault?
The Honourable Bill English.
Well, the members should go back and have a look, because actually this government has always given credit for the stronger economy to New Zealand households and businesses who, in the face of a recession and an earthquake, rearranged the way they operated, became more efficient and leaner, and got themselves through a very difficult period. We've always attributed the strength of the economy to the people who are the economy.
Question number 8, Denise Roach.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.